I first read Atlas Shrugged as a freshman in college, and it was at the center of a confluence of circumstances that profoundly changed the way I saw the world. Starting college, working my first job, starting to manage my own finances, these things all gave me a sense of independence and self-sufficiency. A sense that was not entirely accurate, since I still owed more than I could comprehend at the time to my family, my friends, my teachers, the fact that I'd been born into a stable and relatively law-abiding society. But nevertheless, these things all really resonated deeply with Ayn Rand's philosophy in Atlas Shrugged. Characters like Francisco d'Anconia, Ragnar Danaskjöld, Hugh Axton, and John Galt were not one-dimensional, as some critics have claimed. Rather, they were inspiring. They imbued my understanding of humanity with a new brightness and depth by giving me a clear account of what man is capable of, what man is made for, how beautiful man can be when he lives according to his nature. What Rand has done with her characters in Atlas Shrugged is remarkably similar to Aristotle's approach to understanding human nature in his Nicomachean Ethics. As you probably know, Rand deeply admired Aristotle and drew heavily from his philosophy. When Aristotle seeks to understand what man is and how man should live, he doesn't start with a priori abstract truths. Instead, he asks, what does a virtuous man look like? How would a virtuous man live? By giving us a clear vision of what a virtuous man looks like, Rand offers something Aristotle would understand, a set of practical reference points that we can take throughout life, so that when a situation comes up and we wonder, what's the right thing to do here, we can make some progress toward an answer by starting with a question like, what would John Galt do here? Rand's compelling portraits of human excellence will always stay with me. Something else from Atlas Shrugged that will always stay with me is the emphasis Rand places on every individual's duty to think for himself or herself. As she puts it in the book, there is no greater, more heroic form of devotion than the act of a man who assumes the responsibility of thinking. Nobody can do your thinking for you. Now, to be sure, Rand is no relativist. Just because you think for yourself doesn't mean you can't be wrong. But as a freshman in college, experiencing Rand's passionate declaration that every person has the responsibility to think, to live deliberately, to choose how to live, not just to be passive material shaped by the circumstances of other people's choices. That was in many ways the first time I really engaged in philosophy, that way of life founded 2.5 millennia ago by another great thinker who famously said, the unexamined life is not worth living.